I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Okay. I was leaving the gym this morning, and as I was walking out, I watched this man, clearly like an unhoused person, get fully naked
Oh.
and proceed to take a shit in the bushes in front of the gym.
Oh.
And as I walked by, he said good morning.
Oh.
And I thought this feels very LA because no one seemed fazed. Like all the people walking by were just keeping it pushing.
Well, he's got to do what he's got to do.
But it made me think we went to dinner last night and there were two people there I had never met before.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, I feel like I was coming on a little strong as an LA defender.
You were defending LA more than I would have assumed because I feel in the middle of the road about the city myself.
Well, I think people are really quick to complain about LA. But I guess as an adult, I don't understand why someone would move here and then complain about things that you could very easily
the most obvious thing
have found out if you did a quick Google search of what is it like living in LA? What are common complaints? Why do people leave? So when people complain about the obvious things, I get confused. And then when I ask, well, why would you move to a city that you can't afford to be comfortable in? Then it's like defensive.
Well,
like, I like the sunshine and
if we
okay.
if we picked apart that conversation, because this person had lived all over Europe and recently left Berlin, to which I, of course, if you listen to us, I love Berlin. And he said, oh, Berlin has a darkness to it. It's gloomy. I'm like, but I like that. I have a darkness to me too. But it's just funny. There, you're going to have problems with anywhere you live, right? So
I think oftentimes the issues people have with certain places are more about them than the place.
Sure.
Because I feel like I could live anywhere and make it comfortable for me.
He seemed like a Rolling Stone a bit based on his living pattern. But
this isn't so much about him specifically. I think I was just thinking like, yeah, LA has a lot of things about it that are not the most appealing. But I just don't know that I would move to a city I can't afford. And then when people want to tell you why they move here, career opportunities or like industry exposure, but then you don't do anything. Like you work part-time at a Mexican restaurant. What networking and career opportunities are you pursuing?
I think I see a lot of sadness in the city, but there's also a lot of excitement and there are a lot of interesting people, to be fair. You were also just watching something. You were watching Monet Exchange, and Peppermint was a guest. And Peppermint hates LA.
She's very vocal about how she hates LA. But I think it's like, oh, if you don't drive, yeah, LA's not the place for you.
It's a trap.
Public transit is terrible.
Yes.
It's congested. So then you have to pay a lot to use rideshare and then just sit in traffic. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're accustomed to living somewhere where you can easily walk, get on a train, everything you need is a few blocks away, this probably would not work for you. I felt kind of bad because I was coming out a little strong, but then I also feel like a lot of people move here and they don't, all the excuses they make for their bad decision is like, okay, well, yes, the geography and the climate are ideal, but these people aren't utilizing it. You're not at the beach every weekend or at the mountains or going hiking in Joshua Tree. Like you basically sit in your apartment. You basically sit in your shitty apartment and like you could do that anywhere more comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I bring it up because I felt bad, but I also think people don't do a lot of research before they jump into big decisions, like getting into a relationship with someone who you didn't do a background check and credit check and didn't verify all their shit. And then 2 years later, you're surprised that they're not who you thought they were, but okay.
I mean, this is certainly a city you have to be as realistic as possible about to live and survive in. It is not an easy city, and I don't think it's a very fun city either. But I brought up the Peppermint thing because I like she described this area as a collection of suburbs.
I would agree.
Yeah,
LA's sprawling, but it's not like you're regularly going from one end to the other.
It feels really disconnected and disjointed for sure. And a lot of it, if to be quite frank, it's an ugly city.
I do think it's ugly. There are, pockets that are, I mean, that's kind of the fun part of LA. Like one block will look like war torn, and then the next block has $6 million mansions lined up. And
Yeah, it's like it's kind of a dystopia, but and again, as you know, I like Russian dystopic literature, and I guess I'm fine living in that environment.
but I'm also very busy, very important. So I'm not like, if I'm not sitting in this office working, I'm in my car headed to one of three places: a
The
movie,
theater.
the theater, a restaurant, or the gym.
Hmm.
So my life's like in a bubble.
Yes, I think that's part of survival in LA too. But
We park in a garage, like we have a garage. So it's like, I'm not even like, I feel very disconnected. When I leave the house, I don't even walk outside. I just walk downstairs, walk into the garage, open the door, pull out, and then I'm just, and most of the places I go, I'm strategic about, they have parking and I know exactly where I'm going. So to me, everything feels easy. But I wouldn't move here if I didn't have shit to do.
no, yeah,
Like I just have a regular, especially people who have work from home jobs. I don't know why you would come here.
the weather.
You could, a lot of places have nice weather
That's true.
and you could enjoy them more in a nicer place to live and
In a
cleaner. And,
nice weather in a blue state.
but I don't, this is a really negative start. There's a lot to like about anywhere you live. I think it's more about the person. Like you have to be in charge of your destiny. So
I agree. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy myself the best I can wherever I am. That's what I tell people when I'm out and about and they complain about the bar. Like I'm fine where I am.
moving on to the restaurant section. You tried a new restaurant called Woon,
Yes, like swoon without the S.
a Chinese restaurant.
Oh yes.
I have to say, I don't normally like pork belly because of the fattiness, but you ordered some pork belly, like fried rice, and pork belly bao.
Yes.
It was really good.
Oh, and those beef noodles.
The beef noodles were really good.
Well, you told me I could pick what I wanted, and I said it's okay if I surprise you, and you said yes, and I made sure.
Your tone is like I gave you a hard time about this.
No,
I
but
said you can choose what you want, and you ordered what you wanted, and I'm saying it was good.
you did couch this with I don't usually like pork. There was also bok choy in it. This
I
man,
prefaced with that to say like it was good.
okay, yes, this man straight up. I made steamed bok choy one night for dinner with something else, obviously, and this man ran out of the house saying, "I'm gonna go where I want to eat."
I think my problem with you is if I were alone and I had to eat, I would keep it very, very simple.
Right. So I
And you
introduced
always do a little too much when it comes to food. Like
bok choy is not.
it's a
too
little
much.
more complicated and a little than I would like. I don't know what the circumstances were of this anecdote you like to share all the time, except that because you didn't just make bok choy, right? There were other things.
There were other things, but you were not touching it.
I mean, maybe it looked nasty to me. I don't know.
This was after the Dunkirk screening. That was my memory of it. Anyway, but yes, Woon, and I would like to go back. And it was also a cute place.
Well,
that
I
would
think
sit
that
at.
where you went, that might have been a pop up.
No,
Oh, I thought I was. So it looked like a for real brick and mortar restaurant.
no, a ton of people in there, and they had signage everywhere.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I want to go
Because
back
on their
it was
website
cute.
it said pop. Well, maybe we can go there for dinner.
Well, maybe we better go before they leave. That's the other thing about LA. There's shit that happens like that all the time.
Then we also tried a place called Seasoning Alley, a Mediterranean restaurant at Hollywood and Highland, where like the Chinese theater is and all that nonsense. The food was whatever. We got like some tri-tip shawarma and it tasted like it had been sitting all day. And
It was pretty dry.
it was very dry. But the more interesting thing is that little food court area at Hollywood and Highland is such an odd location. Don't you agree?
I don't know who it's to. Well, tourists must be going in there.
Yeah, but even if you were a tourist, because we know that area very well, like we're often there.
Mhm.
And even I don't ever think like, oh,
Let's eat in there.
let's eat in there because it's on like the what, third or fourth floor
Mhm.
of this complex.
Yeah, it's right by the smaller part of the Chinese theater.
But it just feels like it's so out of the way. And if you were a tourist who's there just to see all the street performers and the stars on the sidewalk, you well, like, why would you ever wander up there?
Do you remember those stairs? They've stopped this now. That they're painted like piano keys, and when you used to walk up, it would make noises like you were hitting notes.
Yes.
I hated that, and I thank God they stopped it. Like it's already noisy as hell here. Why? Why?
I will say I do like going to the Chinese theater because there is never anyone there. We
That's
saw
true.
the Return to Silent Hill,
Ugh.
and there was one interesting man. He reminded me of, remember that wrestler who was like, let me look him up, like the Grave Digger, or am I?
Like a WWE
Yes.
wrestler?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Darn.
Uh,
Oh
he-
yeah, Gravedigger. He looked like the Gravedigger to me, and he was sitting like right in the middle, like by himself in this empty theater with us in the back.
he left to get concessions.
But he was gone for a long time.
The movie had, it was well after the credits ended, the opening credits where he returned.
I mean, like he had a baby in the toilet. I don't understand why he was gone so long.
I don't know. And then some, it looked like a lesbian couple showed up quite late as well.
Well, if there were a movie to blow off, it would be Return to Silent Hill.
I agree.
All right, films released we didn't cover. Shelter.
Yeah, well, we were covering Sundance films. Otherwise, we probably would have gone to this, starring Jason Statham, directed by Rick Romanois, who also did Greenland 2 this year. But it looked better than Greenland 2. I will give it that. I like Jason Statham well enough.
World Breaker.
This is with Mila Jovovich and directed by Brad Anderson, who's a bit of a hit or miss director. I think I still want him to do another Machinist, but it's a genre film. Looks interesting.
Iron Lung.
This is directed by Mark Fishback, who is a YouTube personality and self-financed this genre film that got a lot of attention. I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
I've heard that it has some pacing issues, but it got a lot of praise too.
Islands.
This is with Stacey Martin and Sam Riley. I think it was a Venice film, or was it? No, it was a Berlin film. Anyway, I missed it at some film festival. I happened to see it on a plane. I think going to Venice. There's my mind. And it just opened in theaters in the U.S. And I quite liked it. It's Sam Riley plays an ex-tennis pro who is kind of a drunk, and now he teaches tennis to people that these richies that visit this resort, and he ends up getting in an odd kind of role, like relationship with this married woman played by Stacey Martin, whose husband suddenly goes missing, and then you're wondering if Sam Riley killed him. But it's interesting.
The Love That Remains.
I might see this tomorrow. I think it opened in New York on the 30th. Icelandic filmmaker Hilnir Palmason. This played at Cannes. I heard it's excellent. I have missed many opportunities to see it, but it looks good.
Lastly, A Poet.
This also got a lot of attention, and I wanted to fit in, but I didn't. It's directed by Simon Mesa Soto. As the title says, it's about a poet, I believe. I don't really know anything else about it, and I think it's kind of a dark comedy.
Projects of Interest. Possession.
We've talked about this before. Parker Finn of the Smile Films is remaking the Zulawski film Possession, right? And I remember I put it out there in the universe. I did. I said he better call Margaret Qualley. Guess who's cast? Guess who's cast in this movie?
Not Margaret Qualley.
Margaret Qualley.
Okay.
And Callum Turner, who I thought it was going to be Pattinson, but maybe he's just producing.
Taste of Cherry.
Speaking of remakes, Lisandro Alonso is going to be remaking the Kiarostami classic Taste of Cherry, which won Kiarostami his Palme d'Or in 1997, and Wagner Moura is going to star.
The Bookie and the Bruiser.
S. Craig Zoller is moving ahead with his new film. I really like Dragged Across Concrete. I think that was my top 10 that year. I also like the Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell. So this is he's an interesting director. I'm looking forward to it.
Lastly, Fonda.
Justine Triet, who did Anatomy of a Fall, which we both quite liked. Her new film, it's going to be her English language debut set in a psychiatric hospital. We might have referenced this before, but now she's got a title and a whole ass cast led by Mia Goth. And you also have Andrew Scott, Frank Delane from Urchin, and Nathan Stewart Jarrett from Candyman and Femme.
Unfortunately, there are a couple of entries in the obituary section. Damon Wilson died. I know him as the son of Fred Sanford from Sanford and Sons.
Oh, yeah.
He died at his home in Palm Springs due to complications from cancer. He was 79. And of course, Catherine O'Hara died unexpectedly at the age of 71. It sounds like she had a respiratory emergency at her home.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time she got to the hospital, later that afternoon, she had died. But I loved Beetlejuice,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what I would have known her for before I became familiar with the Christopher Guest movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we watched Schitt's Creek. But she's been in so many things. I think I also have a fondness for her because I've always thought your mom looks like her.
I've always thought that too.
Yeah. Do you recall the first time seeing her?
Home Alone.
Yeah. Oh, duh. Well, I didn't really watch Home Alone, I think, until we did that live.
Oh, really?
I don't recall watching that movie as a younger person.
I recall watching that movie as a kid, and she reminded me of my mother when I was a kid. But in a way, she's a lot more funny and has a greater sense of humor than my mother. But yeah, they would have been sisters. Where my mom was
the more serious,
difficult, cerebral one.
I guess of the Christopher Guest movies, my favorite of hers is For Your Consideration.
Well, where she's the actress that,
and then she gets the injectables, thinking that she's gonna.
But Best in Show, where she's of course the ex nymphomaniac who everybody recognizes, and A Mighty Wind. Did you ever see that, where she's the folk singer?
Yeah, of course. That's my least favorite.
That's probably my least favorite of the Guest films, but it that kind of hit me. This headline popped up on my phone, and was not expecting to hear that.
I didn't watch 6 Feet Under. I didn't realize she was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you know what? I should make you watch is the Martin Scorsese film After Hours. The thing is, she wasn't in a lot of lead roles, but everything she made better.
I think Moira Rose is one of those characters that I can only envision one person playing that role.
Yes.
And I was such a huge Schitt's Creek fan for a period. But yeah.
Oh, the little frippet.
All right. The secret film this week was your choice, and you chose the 1990 black comedy, The Bonfire of the Vanities, directed by Brian De Palma. Why did you choose this film?
Should I say?
Sure.
I was invited. Well, I don't have the final details, but I think that I'm going to be appearing in a documentary about Bruce Willis for some reason. But I was invited to talk about it, and so I accepted. And this was a title that is going to be discussed, and I'd never seen, so I had to fit it in. I always had meant to read the book by Tom Wolfe first, which I never have, and I still would be curious to read it after watching what this film turned out like. But of course, I'm very familiar. I love Brian De Palma. I mean, Carrie. We have a podcast out there for The Fury, Dressed to Kill, Raising Cain, Carlito's Way. He is one of my Sisters. That actually might be my favorite. I don't know why I didn't say that first, but I absolutely love Brian De Palma, especially his earlier part of his career. So this is something I curiously have never seen, and because I knew it had a terrible reputation.
So you're trying to catch up on Bruce Willis films.
In short, yes.
Well, then you'll be happy to know that a Patreon selection is Lucky Number 11
with Josh Hartnett,
and Bruce Willis is in it.
I saw that in Amsterdam when I was there for a class for 3 weeks.
The title sounded familiar when you said it. I had not seen it, but let's read the premise.
Oh, for Bonfire. Okay.
Yeah. After his mistress runs over a young teen, a Wall Street hotshot sees his life unravel in the spotlight and attracts the interest of a down-and-out reporter. Okay, this movie was critically panned and was a flop.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that the production details are outlined in a book that came out shortly after the movie.
Yes.
I will say I did like this movie, but it's not good. So I can appreciate, I would also say it's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, but I laughed a lot and I would watch it again. The problem, and as I was looking up the consensus of why it doesn't work, I think the big thing, and I agree, is the casting. The casting is out of control ridiculous. I'm assuming that was a choice, right? They were trying maybe to cast people who were against type, and it is a satire, but it's so odd. It is so odd.
Well, I think the major problem with it is the 3 leads.
Because all of the scenarios, which we'll get to outside of the 3 leads, anytime the 3 leads aren't on screen, I enjoy the movie more.
I agree. Well, Bruce, let's start with Mr. Willis, who of the 3 leads was the least egregious to me. the narration.
He plays the journalist, the down and out journalist.
Peter Fallow. He's got a very similar performance in Death Becomes Her, which fits better. Here, he's also not utilized a lot, even though he's the framing device for this whole debacle. I really don't like his narration. And I don't know, it just seems there wasn't, he didn't even have enough screen presence for me to really care, but I don't think that, I think somebody more interesting, and I think he got $5 million for this. He was to add kind of box office potential to this Brian De Palma film, who, De Palma's coming off of The Untouchables, Casualties of War, which I don't believe was a hit either. But so I think there was pressure for this Tom Wolfe international bestseller to have a notable name. I think this is the same year as Die Hard 2, right? So that's why Bruce is in it. The other two, I don't know what the hell they're thinking.
Well, let's explain the framing device. So the film opens with Bruce Willis, clearly a very successful writer, attending an event. And he explains that his good fortune is the result of this man played by Tom Hanks. And Tom Hanks' character's name is Sherman McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a Wall Street type who is supposed to be like, he's a self-described master of the universe. And in my mind, after watching the movie, I envision someone like Gene Hackman in Heartbreakers playing this character.
Uh-huh.
So Tom Hanks feels very out of place from my reading, because I didn't read the book. I think that the character in the book is younger, like a Tom Hanks. So then other people who were considered were like Tom Cruise, and
which would have been, that's like what year was it? God, why is my mind blanking? A Few Good Men era, Tom Cruise.
But also, I think the first person, so originally Mike Nichols was pitched the project with Steve Martin in the lead role, but the studio rejected that because they thought Martin was too old. So that's when they considered people like Tom Cruise, Kevin Costner, Chevy Chase. I just don't see any of those people in this role. But again, I didn't read the book. If it had to be someone younger, I would imagine like Christian Bale in American Psycho.
Yeah, somebody kind of malevolent.
Yes.
A user.
But Tom Hanks, and then Tom Hanks just looks like Tom Hanks, but they give him brown teeth.
Immediately, I'm like, why do his teeth look like
that?
And
it looks so crazy because nothing else about him looks distressed except these brown ass teeth. And we never see him smoking cigarettes or drinking coffee. So I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know why. But like, why
are his teeth like that?
I guess it's to make him untrustworthy.
Well, he dresses well and he drives a fancy car and lives in a spectacular penthouse. So it seems odd that he would just walk around with those teeth. But
I think Tom Hanks is a fine enough actor. I think that casting him this doubles down on the milquetoast, though. Like Tom Hanks can tend to be on the boring side.
Yeah, I think as an actor, this film and role didn't help him
pop for sure.
Yeah, like shake off that image. But so the story is that Tom Hanks' character, he's married to Kim Cattrall, who's supposed to be this.
Well, because she's using this very pronounced patrician accent.
Yeah, I feel like she is, okay, she's Tom Hanks' wife, and she's supposed to be kind of like a nitpicking hard ass who's unsatisfied with her husband. She's a socialite. She's very concerned about appearances.
She's a little Stepford wifey.
Yes. But Tom Hanks is having an affair with Melanie Griffith, who's supposed to be Southern.
Oh, God.
Clearly a gold digger. Okay, first, immediately, it's like, oh, I would have switched the actors.
Yes.
So you're married to Kim Cattrall, but you're cheating on her with Melanie Griffith, who is like overly sexualized.
Yes.
It's really uncomfortable.
Melanie Griffith's Southern Belle accent,
it's so bad that it gave me Peter Dinklage and Tiptoes. Like at any moment I was expecting her to shake it off. Like, oh, that's the accent I use to convince people. Because she acts when we first meet her like she's rich.
Yes.
But then we find out actually she's hustling.
She's a hustler, baby. Yep. Oh God, it's so bad.
But the accent's not fake.
Shaman. Oh.
And then it goes in and out. There are entire like lines of dialogue where it's just like Melanie Griffith's normal voice.
and it's, again, sometimes that squeaky high pitched Minnie Mouse thing can be endearing. I love Working Girl for obvious reasons besides Melanie, which is funny to think that. And you know, she starred in Brian De Palma's earlier film Body Double from '84, and it's my understanding that she caused a lot of trouble on the set of this with her demands. But yeah, she seems like a nagging wife. I agree.
So one day, Tom Hanks goes to pick up his little mistress, Melanie Griffith, and they're driving in his big S-Class Mercedes when they pull off the highway and end up in the Bronx. And so this is supposed to be a satire.
It is.
And we'll get to all that. But while they're in the Bronx, they get caught up in like, they make it look like the apocalypse with black, but it's just all like if the apocalypse were just a bunch of like zombies, except make them black people, that's how they make it look. But it's intentional. And I actually thought that the commentary was interesting. But Tom Hanks drives into like a corner and gets stuck and gets out of the car, and these two young black men approach him and he gets scared. So Melanie Griffith jumps in the driver's seat. And in the process of trying to pick up Sherman and get out of there, she hits one of the guys. So this guy goes to the hospital and he's treated for like a sprained ankle or wrist, like something benign. But it turns out he had like brain damage and ended up dying from it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But in the background, we see that there's a district attorney portrayed by F. Murray Abraham.
Who, yeah. He you know, who was an Oscar winner by this point, he demanded to have his name above the credits, and they already had three people's names, and he said, if you're not going to put me above the credits, don't put me in the credits at all.
So his character is running for re-election, and he knows that he needs the black vote to win.
Mm-hmm.
So he has this corrupt plan to basically hang a rich white man out to dry, because he knows that that will gain favor of black voters.
Some unfortunate yuppie.
So Morgan Freeman's in the film as a judge.
I think he's one of the best parts.
His final moments are, well, he's funny throughout.
Yes.
Because he could not keep control of this courtroom. You could have played a game the number of times he yells, order, order.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, we see that a prosecutor for the district attorney's office, who we've seen in an elevator before.
Saul Rubinek, yeah.
He is trying to bring charges against this yuppie white guy, and Morgan Freeman's like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to win like the black vote for the district attorney, but this man, like these charges are like bunk. Like I'm not gonna let you bring this to court.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to find a privileged white man they can hang out to dry. So then luckily in the newspaper, and this is where Bruce Willis comes in, he writes an article about this black kid who was struck by a car and is now like in critical condition in the hospital. And they know that it was a white man in a Mercedes.
Yes.
And then you have this Al Sharpton type
yeah,
who is getting the black community riled up at the request of the district attorney's office. So it's all a game. It's all to try to get money, because that black minister,
who's played by John Hancock, who is quite an underrated actor. And you know what? I think he died shortly after this movie. I think he died in 1991.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Mary Alice.
Y'all know Mary Alice.
Y'all know Mary Alice.
Who's
the uptight lady from The Women of Brewster Place.
And also one of the oracles from the Matrix film.
She's in a lot of things.
She's in a ton of things. And I think we always say this every time we see her. Seems so stern and dry.
Well, she's the mother of the young man who was hit by the car and is now in the hospital. And the minister is only doing this because he knows that they can sue the hospital for wrongful death, because they misdiagnosed him and that's why he died. So the mom is all about the money. The district attorney is trying to do everything they can to find this white man to prosecute him. So the middle of the movie is them trying to find the culprit. They find Tom Hanks, and then Tom Hanks is trying to clear his name because he was not driving the car. But once Melanie Griffith gets a wind of what's going on, she escapes to Italy with one of her benefactors to while the heat is on. But this dummy returns to New York.
Yes, Glenn Fry.
And this is when it becomes known that Because there's another character in this movie. Beth Broderick plays a lady named Carolyn, and y'all know Beth Broderick from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yes.
Speaking of her and Kim Cattrall, who I both know and I think most people know as blondes.
Yes.
It's really weird to see Kim Cattrall and Beth Broderick as brunettes. They look lovely.
They do. I'm. They give Kim Cattrall a lot of. They made her lose all this weight to play this society gal, including the costume designer Anne Roth, who I quite love as well. But they were so hard on her, trying to make her gaunt and thin.
Well, I mean, I guess that fits for a woman of her, where she's all about appearances.
But it's such a nothing role.
Oh God. And then it's just like, yeah, why wouldn't you have her be the mistress?
She wasn't big enough by then, I guess. Even though,
well, why couldn't they switch? I don't know. It's so weird. But anyway, just to finish the story, Melanie Griffith ends up getting back involved in the case. And we find out that Beth Broderick is friends with Melanie Griffith. And Beth Broderick has like a rent control department in the city that she was subletting to Melanie, which of course is illegal. So the landlord had tapped the apartment so that they could prove that Beth Broderick wasn't living there. And in the process, they recorded Melanie Griffith admitting to driving the car and hitting the guy.
Right.
But of course, that recording is not admissible because the defendant didn't record, like that's not his own recording, like he can't use it.
And it was recorded illegally.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. But at the 11th hour, while they're in the courtroom, Tom Hanks decides to go rogue and he just plays the tape.
While Melanie Griffith is on the stand.
Which I would love to know what a lawyer thinks, but I think from my knowledge of listening to a million Dateline episodes, I feel like that would be dismissed. Like it'd be a mistrial, and they would have to do it again with a new jury because you can't do that.
Right. And then Tom Hanks, his big thing is, and he has a scene with his dad, played by Donald Moffat, about how he's going to lie
and say that recording is his.
Yes, but why didn't you introduce this into evidence before then, sir? I don't know. But
and the judge, Morgan Freeman, says, well, in light of this evidence, I'm dropping the charges. Tom Hanks, you're free to go.
There's like a tawdry Ayn Rand element to this whole thing.
Yes, because there's a lot of social and political commentary, but bookended. So at the end, we get Bruce Willis saying like, okay, so that's how I became this person you see today, who's like this drunk,
out
derelict.
of control person. Yeah. It's kind of alarming. And the film's opening with him going to this book party is shot kind of magnificently.
Well, I'll get to that in a second, but you mentioned the narration throughout because the movie's what, 2 hours?
2 hours and 5 minutes. Yeah.
So for, an hour 45, we have Bruce Willis narrating, which is so awkward for two reasons. One, he sounds so bored and flat, but also he's just explaining what we're witnessing.
You know what? I wanted that. They needed an omniscient narrator to be tongue in cheek, like Willem Dafoe as Satan in Vox Lux. That's the kind of shit you needed for this.
Okay. I'm going to start going through my notes, but I want to say I did find so much of this movie funny. And I think that the satire related to race, politics, corruption, money, status feel very relevant today.
It feels in what its intentions are, it feels ahead of its time.
And it feels bold.
It feels bold. You know that there were people that watched this that didn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but it's also done in such a clunky way.
Okay, just starting with my notes, I knew we were in trouble when we meet Rita Wilson escorting Bruce Willis to this party.
Mr. Fallow.
And the ADR is like mind-boggling. Like I almost thought there was something wrong with our TV. And then the score, it just feels like this is wild.
The score makes it feel like it's akin to a New York Story like Working Girl.
We get a scene where Bruce Willis, who's clearly like just a wreck, he is being escorted to this party and he gets into a service elevator and he sees a beautiful woman. So he says, oh, I want to ride in the elevator alone with her. And there's a caterer with this huge platter of like, it looks like salmon. I've never seen a salmon that big, but
a salmon loaf.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like a big long salmon loaf. And
Ugh.
Bruce Willis grabs a big old handful of that fish, like if as if it were cake, and tries to feed it to the lady. And he bites on it and rubs his hands all over his suit. Then we get the people tending to him saying, like, oh, you smell bad. We have to change your clothes. We see him taking off his shirt and changing. He's just like a drunk mess, very unlikable.
But the camera that's following him, as a piece of filmmaking, this is a really impressive film. And the great Vilmos Zsigmond apparently had to do all this complicated shit to get that tracking dolly.
The cinematography is impressive. The movie feels big. I mean, I know the budget was not insignificant, but it definitely feels big.
Yes.
Okay, when they exit into the Bronx, the fact that they made that shit look like hell was so funny to me. But I think it works because you have these two, well, this yuppie white guy who thinks he's like the biggest and the baddest with his gold digging Southern belle, who's acting like she's never seen.
Her line is like, "Where are the white people?"
But the gag is, and I feel like that's why the commentary is so interesting to me. She's trash.
Oh, absolutely.
So, bitch, like, I don't know who you.
And then this other thing, and it's the casting, and I think De Palma had trouble directing her in this, but she says all these. What's the word for it? Is it malapropisms? She says all these wrong words.
It's giving Fantasia and Got to Be Real.
Yes,
like the rudity and the.
I only eat spasmodically.
Yeah, like
okay.
But it works. It works. Like the irony that she is someone who is also, because I'm assuming part of it is like, oh, these people who mooch off the system and look at them, they're like animals out here. And it's like, well, what the hell is Melanie Griffith's character doing?
She's doing the same.
You're doing the exact same thing, except with a fur coat on, sitting in a big Mercedes,
and probably having less fun, bitch.
And thinking about the commentary on people on welfare, and it's like, this bitch is illegally living, subletting a rent-controlled apartment.
Mm-hmm.
How is that different from getting Section 8? Mm-hmm. Like, what are you doing that's any different from the people you think you're better than?
What's that one meme where it's like, name something that, depending on it, can,
if you're rich or poor,
if you're rich or poor,
acceptable.
like it is classy or disgusting. It's like smoking.
Yeah, yeah. Receiving housing credits.
Yes. Well, and the title, I think we haven't talked about the title at all, which I think is a fabulous title.
Oh, go ahead.
The references to centuries earlier, there's this burning of luxury goods as a way to destroy pride and greed. It's like offloading material. Your materialism, is that what it's supposed to be? And then the set, Tom Wolfe is using it set in this very specific time in 1980s New York at the end of the age of excess, where metaphorically there's this need for the same kind of cleanse. I use that as a reference in a review for a movie called The Nest, which we have. Remember that, with Carrie Coon and Jude Law?
Yes.
Because I called that the bonfire of the wannabes. But anyway, I've always been fascinated just by this title alone. It's one of those, it's very poetic.
I want to get back to the Bronx because the way it's painted, like it's this dystopic hell. You have Tom Hanks suddenly, like this character of Sherman McCoy, who's supposed to be a master of the universe, all of a sudden can't even figure out how to like move his car. Like he's just stuck in this situation that's like, dude, why not? Like, you can back up and go another way, but he's paralyzed. And so the incident where the accident happens, he pulls into like what looks like an underpass, and it's just like rubble and ruin everywhere. And there's a huge tire blocking the way. And so this man decides to get out of the car and try to move this big tire. And that's when the two young black men show up.
Who are actually well too dressed to be.
Well, but then, the interesting thing is that these two young men weren't there to help him. They're acting like they want to rob him. So it's interesting because had they reported the incident immediately, considering the political climate and race relations, they probably would have, like, no questions asked. Like, oh, well, of course you did what you had to do to get out of there because they were going to rob you.
Right.
But because they choose to, they knowingly say like, well, no one's going to know it's us, and who's going to care about these kids? And
right.
She didn't hit him that hard, so he's probably fine. But the kid remembers the car, the fact that it was a white person, and knows the first two letters of the license plate. So it's not that difficult to track down, this luxury vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many of these vehicles in New York City start with the first two letters of blah, blah, blah.
Well, I think what Tom Hanks, that character represents, though, is how easily it is to destabilize whiteness when you challenge
Right.
its importance, because that's exactly what happens. The police go around interviewing everybody with this type of car and with the first two letters of the license plate, and immediately he melts. Immediately they're like, "Oh, it's him."
Which is so odd because he is a rich man. I can't believe that he wouldn't say, like, if you want to pursue this further, because the police come and say, well, can we inspect your car? And he has this really awkward scene where he's saying, well, you have your protocol, and wouldn't someone like me have a protocol? And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
it's like, oh, guilty, did it.
Like, just say, like, listen, surely you understand that someone in my position would need to consult my attorney before we move on further. Like, it just, but again, I think what you said is correct. Like, this crack in the armor causes, like, he's a weak man, really.
The fragility of it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's.
I do have to say, Melanie's character calling all the black people in the Bronx the natives was too much for me.
Oh my God.
The only person, though, who uses the N-word is F. Murray Abraham. And that scene I thought that scene was really good, to be honest.
Well, okay, so because F. Murray Abraham's pissed because the media is blaming him for not bringing this white man to justice that killed this innocent young black. That's the story that's being spun, right? And he's up for re-election, so he's pissed. And he's so rude to his ADA, Sal Rubinek. And I haven't bothered to research it, but he's not credited on IMDb or Letterboxd. I'm sure that is Wendell Pierce.
Oh, I'm also sure that's Wendell Pierce.
Because he's the one black man in F. Murray Abraham's office, and he looks over at them and starts bitching, and then he looks at Wendell Pierce. He apologizes before he uses the N-word.
Well, he says he refers to black people in a disparaging way, but does not use the N-word, and then sees Wendell Pierce and goes, oh, I'm sorry. And Wendell, says like, oh, no big deal. And then goes, yeah, these N-words. Like, oh, that's worse, man. But I thought the commentary with that scene and his performance were really top shelf. But before we even get that scene, we get the first scene with the Reverend, which I thought was shot so amazingly because he's at the pulpit and the camera's below looking up at him like he's God.
Omnipotent.
And behind him is this choir. And I have to say, I clocked her immediately. Stacey Francis is a member of the choir. She doesn't have any speaking lines, but you do see her more than once. And she's at the funeral of the young man who died. But for people who don't know, Stacey Francis was a member of a group called Ex-Girlfriend, which I loved. But also, she's probably most notable because I believe she was on X Factor. But she got into a physical altercation with Whitney Houston a couple of days before Whitney died.
Wasn't it the night before?
I think it was 2 days before, but it was because she approached Ray J. And, Ray J and Whitney were supposedly dating at that time.
Isn't Ray J having health issues right now?
He says that the doctors say he has a couple months to live.
Yeah, and told him to stop drinking.
I mean, I feel like Ray J says anything. How many times have he and Princess been together, not together? Of course, I don't want this man to die, but forgive me if I feel like he's the boy who cried wolf.
I don't think he wants to die. I don't want to put that out there on him, but also I want to question his comprehension levels because you made me watch that. What was that show where they took the little college classes?
Oh, yeah. It was on BT and Big Frida.
With Big Frida and
I know it's
Leaks.
Frida, but I like saying Frida.
Frida and Nene Leaks. But Ray J can't read good, okay? So I don't know. I'd rather hear what the doctors say.
College Hill.
Yes.
It's like the celebrity version. Yeah, because it was Nene, Ray J, Lamar. Oh my God. Remember Stacey Dash?
Yes. She left.
She left because
they were clowning her ass.
Yeah,
but,
which I have to say, she should have known better.
Well,
you gonna be on College Hill with all these black folks, they're not gonna say something.
Stacey, you have excommunicated yourself from the community, girl. But Ray J couldn't even finish the classes, if I remember, or he was putting up. Anyway, we don't want Ray J to die. Back to Bonfire.
So the scene where this reverend is like making this big stir about this boy, but then clearly he's in cahoots with the district attorney because he wants favors. And I thought that all was really well done. I have to say, another really good scene is Tom Hanks and Kim Cattrall and their kid.
Kirsten Dunst.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you had to tell me. And looking at Kirsten Dunst, is it Kirsten or Kristen?
Kirsten.
Yeah. Looking at Kirsten Dunst as a 4 or 5-year-old, it's so weird because you can tell it's her, but it doesn't look like her immediately.
She's not quite fully formed yet. Yeah.
She's so cute. But anyway, they go to Tom Hanks' parents' house.
Yes,
in
Donald
upstate
Moffat.
New York. And the daughter, Kirsten Dunst, is like, "What does dad do, mommy?" And she says something, or he says something about I do bonds.
Yes.
Well, what are bonds? And Tom Hanks tries to explain it in a way that, clearly this kid's not going to understand. But one of the better scenes is Kim Cattrall explaining what bonds are to her daughter. That was so bitchy and venomous. You can tell she can't stand this man.
Basically, her husband, daddy's a parasite.
Yeah, she basically explains imagine a cake. And there are people in charge of handing out slices of the cake. But when you cut a slice of cake, little crumbs fall. Well, your daddy collects those crumbs. But she's saying it with this really bitchy face and this really patronizing tone.
In front of her in-laws who are
and they're just looking like, God damn. But that is a very memorable scene to me. Because also it's that is a really good way to explain a bonds trader.
Yes.
Is that they're just collecting the crumbs off of a cake they didn't bake.
Yes.
That someone else is slicing up and handing out, and they're just collecting those crumbs. Oh gosh. There's a moment after, it's right before Tom Hanks gets arrested, before they have enough evidence to arrest him. He's at a social function with Kim Cattrall, and he's, paranoid because he knows his attorney has told him they have a warrant to arrest you, so it's going to happen.
Kevin Dunn is his attorney.
Kevin Dunn. So he's at this swanky socialite event.
They have just seen Mozart's Don Giovanni.
Oh, yes, that's right. But so Tom Hanks is distracted, but people are carting him around. And he's also preoccupied because his wife is here, but also his mistress is here with that old, nasty Italian man she's sucking dry.
No, I think that's her husband.
Oh, you're right. This lady is married. But Tom Hanks is introduced to this poet. And I thought all the commentary of these bullshit social events were because the big deal is that this poet has AIDS. And so everyone thinks that he's what it reminded me of when on Ab Fab, when Eddie finds out Safi is pregnant by a black African man.
Yes.
And she is so excited, a mixed race baby
baby.
The accessory of the year.
The season, yeah.
So, but I thought it was funny watching Tom Hanks react to this man with AIDS who touches him. Because then shortly thereafter did Philadelphia.
Yes. But that's played by the great Andre Gregory, who, if you all listening out there have not seen My Dinner with Andre, I absolutely love that film. He's also a vile person in The Mosquito Coast, but he's kind of perfect casting, but it's kind of caricature too.
Early on in the film, Kim Cattrall knows her man's cheating on her because he says he has to leave to go do something.
Walk the dog. And
then he ends up walking to a payphone to call Melanie Griffith, whose character's name is Maria, which also doesn't fit, but he accidentally calls his own home phone, which was kind of stupid. And he's talking to Kim Cattrall like she's Maria. And then realizes, oh shit, I called my wife. So he hangs up. And when he comes home, he tries to pretend that wasn't him on the phone. It was very shaggy, it wasn't me. But at the fundraiser, his wife and Melanie Griffith have to meet. And then he has to do that thing where it's hi, nice to meet you. But Melanie Griffith's oh, we've met before. And that's when Kim Cattrall realizes that's the Maria.
That's the Maria.
And what does she say to him? God,
you're such a cliche.
You're such a cliche. Okay. Tom Hanks gets arrested. They throw him in a jail cell. And it's filled with all these black men. It's so funny to me.
It's just pandemonium.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. Okay, then we have the initial, I guess, arraignment. And so Morgan Freeman is presiding over it. And the assistant district attorney is arguing with the judge. And, it's over the bail, like setting the bail amount.
Yes.
Because, of course, $10,000 bail is nothing for Sherman McCoy. So the ADA is saying, we think it should be like $250,000. But Morgan Freeman says, no, we're leaving it at 10 because you have no evidence to say that this man is like a flight risk or whatever. And the ADA says something about, well, I think it would behoove the people or something. And Morgan yells at him. And I feel like I want this on a t-shirt. He's like, behoove me, no ill behooves. For some reason, I thought that was very funny.
I think Morgan Freeman's pretty damn good. And I think he's shaved head in this. I
thought he looked really good.
I thought he looked great.
Yeah, he looks very handsome. So Tom Hanks bails himself out of jail, and Bruce Willis. So all of the media, it's like a media frenzy, which is part of the commentary, that everyone's just convinced that this man is the devil. But he gets out, and somehow none of the paparazzi or the journalists see him leave, but Bruce Willis happens to be there. And so they meet, and they take the train together because Tom Hanks doesn't know how to ride the train.
Of course.
So Bruce Willis is like, well, I'll help you. And while they're on the train, Tom Hanks admits like, well, I wasn't even the one driving. So that's when Bruce Willis really starts to investigate what happened. And that's how he gets in contact with Beth Broderick. And it's all, I feel like I can imagine the book is really good.
Yeah, it's missing something really integral, and then it feels bungled.
But when he gets home to his fancy penthouse, there's a full-on dinner party happening with catering and everything. And Kim Cattrall's like, well, we had these plans set for weeks, so I'm not going to disappoint everyone just because you want to get arrested. Did you notice the food they were serving?
Yeah, she goes in and grabs some tray of something. I'm like, ugh.
That shit looked disgusting. There was something that looked like uncooked asparagus wrapped in bologna. And I know I would have been so disappointed at that party. Like, I'd have to go stop and get a slice afterwards.
Whatever tray she's holding with it, I'm like, that garnish is ugly.
But at the dinner party, Tom Hanks loses it because someone from the co-op board shows up to say, like, we're considering your standing in the building because of all the controversy, but I want you to know that I believe in you. And Tom Hanks is like, thanks. And then he says something about a gun and goes and grabs it like a shotgun.
He has a bunch of guns.
He has a gun closet.
I cannot see this man shooting.
No,
things.
Not at all. But Tom Hanks shoots up the party. And I have to say, that was probably my favorite scene with Tom Hanks.
Okay, sure. Who, by the way, I think considers this the worst film of his filmography.
Well, his character, sure. I can think of
worse, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather watch this again than Forrest Gump. Okay.
Well, or what's the one where they're in the same living room the entire movie?
Oh, Here.
I would rather watch this than Here again.
I love it here.
Okay, Bruce Willis is able to put the pieces together, like I said, from Beth Broderick, who says, Melanie Griffith is my homegirl, and they'd wiretap my apartment. So there's audio of her admitting it. And the reason Beth Broderick's willing to tell is she's mad at her because she took her man and got her kicked out of her rent-controlled apartment. So as she's telling Bruce Willis all the details, she's also taking Xerox copies or photocopies. What did people call those back then? I feel like we would call them photostats or
something like that.
Something weird that we don't use say anymore. Anyway, the entire time she's talking to Bruce Willis, Beth Broderick is taking Xerox copies of her vagina. And then when she's done and gives Bruce Willis all the ammunition he needs, she gives him one of the copies of her vagina and says, give it to Melanie and tell her it's from the little twat who turned her in.
Which is, okay, so that is amusing. However, that's a sequence totally written, directed by a man. That reminded me of Cameron Diaz rubbing herself on the windshield of that car in The Counselor.
Oh, I actually remember that.
But it's like only a man, a woman wouldn't write another woman doing that. Because it's, I'm sure that some woman somewhere has taken a photocopy of her vagina, but it just seems, I don't know.
So Bruce Willis goes to Melanie Griffith's husband to get more details, but he lies and says he's doing like a piece for some major publication about like tycoons, real estate tycoons or something.
The new tycoons.
Something like that. So of course the husband is very flattered and very willing to talk.
Very F. Scott Fitzgerald.
And so two things I thought were interesting. First, he orders a sidecar, which looked tasty to me. So I looked it up. A sidecar is cognac with orange liqueur and I think a twist of lime.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try that. I want to
Let's make it today.
I want to go to the Edmund and order a sidecar and see what they say.
I have a video clip.
Maybe that'll be my fun thing for this evening. I want to go get a sidecar. But also the husband is loud and obnoxious and coughing and that man drops dead. I thought that scene was funny.
That was funny as well, yeah. He's so gross. He had several sidecars, by the way.
He did. Okay, so back at the hospital, we have the district attorney, F. Murray Abraham, with the reverend and the mom of the dying boy all in the hospital room. And they're talking about the plan. And they're saying, like, we can sue for $10 million.
The hospital
For wrongful death. And when Mary Alice hears $10 million, when I tell you she switched up so fast.
She's like, I need a few things.
She's like, you know what? She tells the editor of the paper or something. She says, why don't you get your limo to pick me up and let's go shopping? I need a new wardrobe.
Like, bitch, you got to wait to get the money.
And then we see her at the funeral. She is done up and she has a few ladies behind her, one being Stacey Francis, but one who's wearing the most interesting hat.
I thought it was part of her hair.
You thought it was her hair and it does look like hair, but it's not. It's almost like she's wearing, if you trimmed a yarmulke with white feathers, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Sitting on top of her little pussycat wig.
It had lace on white satin. It's kind of like looking at some old Mary J. Blige videos. Like, where do the hair pieces, where does one end and one begin? I don't know sometimes.
My goodness, Morgan Freeman in this courtroom, he just cannot keep these people together. But his best scene is after he tells
Tom Hanks
he's free to go because the case is dismissed in light of this new evidence.
Although, Tom Hanks needs to be charged with something.
Well, yes, of course. Like an accessory to
like, you didn't report that there was a hit and run. Like, you did something wrong, man.
But hey. But I think Morgan's best scene is the audience in the courtroom starts chanting, basically saying that Morgan Freeman is racist.
Because the audience is mostly black. And
Morgan gets up and gives, I think, a really empowered speech about what it means
to be decent.
Mm-hmm. And to follow the law. That was kind of unexpected and is in contrast to the leads, which is so unfortunate because I think between F. Murray Abraham, Morgan Freeman, the Reverend,
John Hancock,
I mean, I could have just had them in a movie. It could have just been about those three, how like this district attorney is manipulating the black community with this Reverend who also ain't shit. He's just greedy. And then this noble black judge who's trying to be fair and decent. That could be a movie in itself. I don't need the master of the universe and his brown teeth with his gold digging.
That's the problem with unlikable lead characters I like unlikable characters most of the time, but there has to be some kind of hook into them. And they're not well done. I think that's the most egregious issue here is that they're not well done characters or performances. I don't think De Palma knew how to direct them. I think Michael Christopher's script is really getting at the essence of, I'm sure, what Tom Wolfe's book was. Again, what I haven't read. And I think the only previous Tom Wolfe adapted before this was the right stuff. Anyway, it's just not, it doesn't, what's the word? What's the baseball terminology? It's not a home run by any means.
Damn.
It's a strike, what do we call when
turkey?
It's turkey?
Well, turkey's good. That means you got 3 strikes in a row in bowling.
No, what's when you...
a gutter ball.
A gutter ball. That's bowling.
Well, again, I have one final note, and no one's going to know what I'm talking about except maybe my sister, which is that the Reverend in this movie looks exactly like a friend I had in high school named Shayla. So if my sister's listening, you need to look up a picture of the Reverend from the Bonfire, the Vanities, and tell me that doesn't look like her. Or if Shayla could be listening. So, girl, it's just a joke. But anyway.
Well, yeah. He's kind of got Rick James hair a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I think that there's a lot wrong with this movie, but there's a lot that's right. And I was laughing and I was really engaged and I would watch this again. If this were playing at like the New Beverly and I don't have to wait in line, I would go. If there were parking on Beverly, I'm not parking like on a side street 3 blocks away.
Okay, fair.
But if there's parking at a meter on Beverly and someone has a ticket ready for me, I would go.
That would probably have to be me. But did you think of the opening credits where it's like the skyline of Manhattan, right? Go throughout the day, throughout the morning fog into the brilliant illuminated night, where at the top left of the screen is the side of that building. It's like an eagle. Do you remember the opening of the film?
Yes.
It was giving me that of course,
Metropolis?
Megalopolis.
Oh, yes.
I thought of
I was
Megalopolis.
thinking Megalopolis.
Yeah.
I said Metropolis. That's a
Fritz Lang
Charlie
film.
Chaplin movie.
Metropolis is a beautiful Fritz Lang classic sci-fi.
Wait, what's the Charlie Chaplin movie where he's in like a megalopolis type place?
Modern Times.
I'm thinking of Modern Times. They all start with M's. Okay. Madonna.
M by Fritz Lang. You also need to see that. Anyway.
I played Categories for the first time.
Yes, I did. Was my first time as well.
I like that game.
That was cute.
It's hard though.
It was hard, and I had a pen that didn't write,
and yeah, you were handicapped a bit, but I did like that game.
I would play it again. Mm-hmm.
What would you give the Bonfire of the Vanities?
I think I really am aligned with your thoughts on this. It's definitely not good, but I was entertained. So this is a really high score, I think, for a terrible movie, but 2.5.
Yeah, I'm in the middle because, as I said, so I would give it 2.5 out of 5. What do we have coming this week?
We're finishing up Sundance coverage today. And then there's The Strangers Chapter 2. I might be...
Chapter 2 or Chapter 3?
I don't know. A new chapter.
But we haven't seen the other chapters.
I haven't seen Chapter 2.
What is this? The Strangers?
Chapter 3.
Yeah. So there's a Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. I haven't seen either of those.
Okay. I have to double check. Anyway, what else is this week? I head to Berlin next weekend, so we'll be wrapping up a bunch of stuff. I'm sure you and I will cover a few things while I'm remote.
Oh, Rennie Harlan directed The Strangers Chapter 3.
Oh, it's weird because I just watched Die Hard 2 today, which Mr. Harlan also directed. But yeah, we have a couple things, and then a horror film called Whistle I think will fit in before I leave, and that is that.
Well, I think that's all we have. Ta-ta.